Welcome back to another episode of Focus on Tomorrow. For those who don't know, Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization which is located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. And today we are featuring Common Ground Foundation, and with us we have Giovanni Smith, who is the director of the programs.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to thank you so much for coming out to the show and showing what Common Ground Foundation is really all about.
My pleasure.
So the first question I want to ask you, what is the mission behind Common
Sure.
Ground
So the
Foundation?
mission of the foundation is really to get our youth exposed to different opportunities through the creative arts. And that was the premise of everything when we first started. However, over the years we've evolved. So initially the Common Ground Foundation was started as a mechanism to get funding to organizations that were all about our kids. So people went through an RFP process to get requests for funding, and we said, hey, this sounds great, here's some money. About 3 years ago, Common and his mom and a few others sat around and they realized that something was missing, and that missing link was really the kids. We were giving this money out and we were making connections, but we didn't know the students that were involved. So what we've done is we've connected with a group of students and we've kept them over the years. So our mission has evolved to not just focus on creative expression through the arts, but also character development, healthy living, money management, and just making sure, again, that that creative expression piece is part, but it's not our central focus.
And what do you think really inspired Common to, create this foundation?
Common, and I say this not just because he writes me a check, but because he's wonderful. Like, he actually really does care about our youth. Common grew up in Chicago. He went through Chicago public schools. His mom grew up as a principal in the public school system, and this is an area that's just really close to his heart. If you talk to him off camera, you'll see that he's just a really great person that's really concerned about our environment, about our youth, about our future. So this is right in his wheelhouse.
And the future is in the children, right? That's all it was about.
Absolutely.
So do you think the children really had a big influence on Common?
I think so, especially if you think about it in a couple of ways. So if you think about it in terms of why he decided to expand the vision of the program, it was because of the children. If you think about why he still makes the music that he makes and with the messages that he sends, it's because of the children, because if you think about it, these children grow up to be the adults. So if you don't catch them now, what is our world going to be like? So they inspire him to make music, to send messages, to give back. But what they also do is remind him of where he come from.
That's amazing. And for those who don't know, if you have any type of questions or comments, you could call us now at 312-738-1060. So one of your programs that you have is a year-round youth mentoring program, right?
Right.
Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. So the year-round mentoring program is the program that encompasses those 4 areas I mentioned. So it's creative expression, character development, healthy living, and money management. So what we do is we bring our students together at least once a month for workshops, activities, all geared toward those 4 different areas. And so what we do is we have about 40 students that we work with year-round. We started with our first group 3 years ago, so our youngest group is about 13, our oldest is about 16, 17. And we bring them together and we have representatives from outside organizations like Chicago Cares. We'll bring in different professionals in the areas of creative arts, and they teach our students different skills. We do yoga with our students. We spend about 2.5 hours with them one Saturday every month just working on those things. But what we also do is have everyday relationships with them by ways of coaches and mentors. So each student in our program is assigned a coach and or mentor, and that person is responsible for checking in with them all the time. Like, we're like a second set of parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, whatever they need. We talk to the parents, we talk to the teachers, we check on their grades, we help them with personal issues as far as counseling, other resources. We are there for them. So year-round, nonstop, 365, they call us.
And how exactly do you recruit the members?
for the adults.
Yes.
So interestingly, the adults that are part of our program now, we got most of them as instructors from our first summer camp. So when they signed on to be instructors at the camp, they loved us so much. We loved them so much. The children loved them so much. We all just stayed. So that's been great that we've had that longevity and that carryover, because I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the school systems and how it's worked, but anytime that you can get longevity and relationships with students, it's powerful because you see them growing from one step to another and they trust you. So we've been very fortunate to get mentors who have stayed. We also have been very fortunate to have board members, volunteers, and others who may drop in for special services. And usually that happens through referrals, or if someone says, hey, I heard about your organization and I have a great opportunity for you, they'll sometimes email us or call us.
Really?
And we'll consider it.
And what exactly do the mentors get out of this experience? What do you believe?
I actually started out as a coach.
Really?
I did. So when I first joined the organization, I was a coach, and I had 10 students that I worked with one-on-one, and it was amazing. And I like to think that I gave a lot to them, but they gave a lot to me. They keep me young and fresh and cool. They teach me, words. But what they also do is they remind you to be honest and to be true and to stand by your word, because if you let them down, they're going to let you know it. And if you let them down, it does something to you, So it makes you want to be a better person. It makes you look at the world differently. It makes you look at the world with a little bit more hope and optimism, but also with a greater sense of responsibility for what you have to do to keep our children growing. So they're wonderful and they're fun. Gosh,
Definitely.
They're fun.
I mean, that's really. I understand how great that is. Building that relationship with mentors and the students, because it's really hard to make a student do yoga or any type of things like that, and you do build that bond with students. But is there any is there a specific student that you had that changed you?
Oh, they're gonna get so mad at me.
We want to hear it. We want to hear it. We want to hear at least one.
So do I give names?
Go ahead, you can
All right.
if he's watching or whoever.
So I won't give names, but the student will know who he or she is. We had one student, so back when, I want to say maybe 2 summers ago, when there was so much violence going on in communities, not unlike now, right? We did a town hall. And it was a mock town hall with just our students. So we got them all together in a room. We gave them roles. Some were mayors, some were teachers, etc. And then others were just townspeople. And what they got to do is to challenge the panelists, but also give perspective on what they were dealing with. So one of the students stood up and he says, I miss my cousin, right? And so the initial thought was, oh, goodness, he must have lost his cousin in violence. Well, he didn't. He actually lost his cousin to gangs. His cousin joined a gang. And because his cousin joined a gang, that severed the relationship with him and his cousin, because he knew that wasn't a decision that he wanted to make for his life. And he knew that if he continued to hang around his cousin at the level that he was, it could have very negative consequences for him. So just talking to them about those types of situations. Now that same student, phenomenal. B student, solid B student, always asks about jobs and opportunities. He's working now. He looks for ways to take on and mentor the other people in our program. It's great.
And we actually have a caller. Caller, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, good evening. How do you sign up? How do youngsters enroll into your program?
Great question. So our students largely come from Chicago Public Schools, and what we do is we have an application process that works through the CPS high school counselors. So there are a select number of schools that we work with on a dedicated basis, but in cases where you have a student that you think would really benefit from our program, please go to our website at commongroundfoundation.org, and there's contact information there, and you can get in touch with someone that way. But again, there is an application process that the students have to be referred and endorsed by their counselors and or their teachers. And also, this is very, very important, the parents have to make a commitment to the program as well. It's very difficult to provide these level of services without parental partnerships. And by that, it doesn't mean that the parents come to every single session, but what it means is that if we see that the students are struggling with something and we talk to the parents about it, they have to work with us on making that arrangement improve for the students. Does this answer your question, caller?
All right. So the students have a mentoring program that they attend, which is called the Dreamers and Believers Camp, right, during the summer?
Yes.
So how exactly do the students get the experience to develop skills
Sure.
within the camp, considering it's a camp, right?
Oh,
They get
yes.
skills. I mean, how... Maybe they
It's a
start a
camp.
fire. Like...
They do start fires.
So talk to me about
They
that.
do. It's actually a wonderful, wonderful experience. So the camp is about 3-4 years old now, and what we do is we take our students away from the daily cares of the city and off to a remote
Off
island.
the grid.
Yeah, not really a remote island.
You're talking about kids from the city of Chicago, right?
Yes.
You're talking about Chicago kids.
Chicago kids. And so they get no cell phone, no internet access, no anything. They just kind of have to live off the land. And by that we mean that they have indoor plumbing, but they have to share bathrooms. Like all these things seem to be such a big, how do I want to say this? It was such a shift from their everyday. So
Right.
they got into this environment and they have to be completely disconnected from the communications world, and they have to talk to each other. Imagine that. I'm going to talk to the person right next to you. And so we create a curriculum for them. So we expose them to character development activities. So we'll talk about perseverance, and we'll build workshops and challenges around that. So it's always very active for them. We do high and low rope challenges. So they have to focus on like how to work together as a team to accomplish a task. They have to jump off different things, like the leap of faith. It's pretty cool. They get to swim and do kayaking. They get to do basketball. We have photography component to our program as well, so they get to play around with some very, very sophisticated cameras and create portraits and create different experiences for each other and for their parents. We also do something that I personally love. We have brothers circle and sister circles where the boys go off to one area and the girls go off to another, and with their counselors they talk about really talk about the things that they're facing throughout the day. And we have a rule, what happens within a circle stays within a circle. The students are free to say whatever it is that's on their mind, and we are there to listen to them. We encourage them to encourage each other. We encourage them to relate to each other and to talk about their experiences, so that it's not just us saying, when I was your age, this is what I've done. So it's a great opportunity for all of the students to bond together. We get to teach them. They get to have fun. They get to be out in the elements. I mean, these are city kids that go off to somewhat of a rural environment, and they love it. They absolutely love it, and we love it too.
And exactly where does it take place at?
So I usually have the camp in Wisconsin, and I can't disclose the full location, but we had the camp at an off-site campsite in Wisconsin, and it's wonderful. So last year we had it at a new site, and I think we're going to have it there for a few more years, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
All right, so assuming that they're from Chicago, I'm guessing they've never been, water rafting, or they never, told any type of stories around a campfire.
Yeah.
How does that really change their personality?
I think going in for the first time, you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
We look at, let's say, whitewater rafting on TV, and it looks exciting, but there's a fear in the unknown, right? So exposing these students to the opportunity to do whitewater rafting or to do kayaking or to do these high rope challenges really pulls them out of their comfort zones, and it helps them understand that, if they can do this, what else can they do? And what's beautiful to watch is because our program is 3 years old, we have students that are in their third year of camp, so they are getting to mentor and to advise the first timers. So it's funny when you watch let's say our juniors kind of walk around the campsite. They have it all figured out. At least they think they do. If you guys are watching, you don't. We're still working with you. But they have it all figured out, and they're excited about teaching and exposing. So all of those things that we've been excited as adults to share with our students are getting excited about sharing with other students. It's wonderful. And that's what we're trying to do. It's like the whole idea of paying it forward and building up a generation that cares about other people.
And honestly, I think it takes a lot of courage for a student to do that. I mean, to go off to grade, to go campfire, and actually bond with somebody, and make a connection with everybody is just something that's really, really hard.
Oh,
and especially when it comes to the parents.
Yeah.
So going to the parents, there's a day where parents can join the students at the camp to see the experiences like. So how do you involve the parents at the camp activities? How do you mix them in there? Because I mean, you guys do a lot of cool stuff. I know some probably involve a lot of physical activity.
They
I mean, do parents actually like get involved in some of these activities?
Parents get the benefit of having, a little vacation. We don't actually invite our parents to come over to the camp, but what we do is we engage them before and after. So in advance, we have a camp kickoff meeting that involves, all of our parents, and we let them know what to expect. We also talk a little bit about what previous camps have been like, and we give them packing lists and all these other great things to let them know that their children are safe. And then when we come back, we have something called our end of year showcase. And we usually do that at one of the CPS high schools. Mm-hmm. And what we'll do is let the parents get a feel for what we've done over those 5 days. So it's great that they're not there, because once the students get back home, immediately after camp, they have so many things to talk to their parents about. And we've actually had parents that have requested information from us based on some things that their children have experienced in camp. So we did a financial literacy workshop at our most recent camp, and that sparked interest in a lot of our students. And they went home and started to talk to their parents about it. So then I got calls from parents saying, hey, can you talk to me a little bit about this budgeting thing? Can you talk to me a little bit about 529 plans? I know that my kids, are on the older end, but how can I get involved right now? So it's great because the students become the teachers to their parents.
So talk to me about this money plan you had, or this 5 plan you were just talking about. How does that work?
Sure.
Because I know it's really hard for me to manage money.
Oh my goodness, you want to be part of our foundation?
I just want to know exactly how it works. I
Yes.
mean, I'm sure everybody's pretty curious and finding out how to save some money.
Sure. So one of our 4 pillars includes financial management. And so what we do is we bring in outsiders who are trained in that area, and they are all volunteers. We're very, very blessed to have professionals who believe in the mission of what we're doing, and they donate their time to us. So in this past camp, we had a CPA come in and just give a workshop to the students on what it means to be financially savvy. Another thing that we did is in planning our community service components, we broke our students into groups, and they were responsible for identifying their own programs or their own community service outreach activities, and they had to manage the budget for it. So what we try to do is take all 4 components of our program, intertwine them so they're getting real life experiences. But you mentioned the 529. That's something that's outside of what we do. It's something that's offered as a kind of like what you would have for an IRA or a savings account.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much a savings for college plan, and a lot of people don't know about it. But it's a great way to get started with college savings, especially when you have very little ones.
And going to college savings, it is kind of tough trying to apply for colleges and doing financial aid. And you guys actually provide a college readiness program, right? Which is new this year. Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So this is, again, we're excited about this. This is the first year that we have juniors. And obviously, we want our juniors to keep going with their education. So we're launching an initiative called 2020 Vision. And, when I gave the students the paper, like, what is 2020 Vision, right? 2020 is actually the year that our students are scheduled to graduate from college. And so what we want them to do is focus on 2020. What do you need to do to prepare you for 2020? So we're providing them different tools and resources. We're going to do ACT prep with them. We are going to take them on college tours. We are bringing in different people to help them with college essay writing. We offer tutoring services to our students to help get their GPAs where they need to be. And this is one thing that I think is extremely important. At the Common Ground Foundation, we realize that even though we'd like to be everything to all of our students, we can't. Everyone has limitations, so what we try to do is go out into the community and find other organizations that we can partner with. So Link Unlimited is a great program. Chicago Scholars, Posse, Urban Alliance, all of those are programs separate from ours that we're partnering with to offer services to our students so that they can take advantage of all of the resources that are out there. So key to 2020 Vision is making sure that our students are just aware and that our parents are aware. In many cases, our students are going to be first-generation college graduates. So some of their parents have never gone through this process. And it is our job, it is our desire, it is our mission to partner with them through this. So whatever it is that they need, we will be right there with them. Scholarships, everything, we're on it.
And transitioning from college, you also go within the Spring Youth Business Conference, right, for students from the public and the charter schools.
Yes.
This was a career immersion workshop.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little more about this event?
Absolutely.
And how you got kids out of it?
Oh, gosh, it was wonderful. So this was the first year we did that program, and the theme was the art and science of success.
Okay.
And the idea was to help the students understand that when we talk about success in the creative world, we're not just talking about conventional things. We're not talking about singers, actors, dancers. There takes creativity in almost every discipline. So what we did was we had professionals from 7 different areas come in, and they actually taught 45-minute immersion workshops within their respective fields for our students. And the students actually had an opportunity to somewhat select what workshops they participated in. So what they did was they completed a survey ahead of time, and it wouldn't have said, do you want to be an engineer? What it would have said instead was, I am interested in learning how cities and buildings are built. And then from that, we mapped them to an engineering workshop. And so we had one simple mandate for all of our professional volunteers, and that was to create hands-on experiences for our students. So at the end of it all, they had a glimpse of what it could be like to be in that industry. And so each student participated in 2 45-minute workshops, one on the arts side and one on the sciences side.
And you guys collab those together.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
How was that experience for the students, though? That's what I'm curious about. Because science sounds pretty boring.
It was fantastic for them, right? Thank you.
That's what I want to know.
You know what? And that was their initial reaction, in all honesty. When I told them about it, they were kind of like, do we have to? And the answer was always, yes, you do. Right? And so,
with a smile on your face.
Yes, just like that. But when they got there and when they were prepping for it, you saw them come alive. I mean, because they had the dress business casual. We had a student committee that was responsible for part of the day. And so they ran check-in. And you just saw them grow. You saw them shift into, like, professionals. What I didn't mention before is that in addition to the career immersion workshops, we also had a speed networking component. So think speed dating, if you're familiar with that concept, but with professionals. So for a 40-minute block, our students actually had to sit across from a stranger and engage them in professional conversation and talk with them for 5 to 7 minutes. When the time was up, move to the next one. So at the end of it all, they got to meet at least 8 professionals from 8 different industries, and they learned a little bit more about what made those people tick, what made them travel down the roads that they traveled down. So the pressure was on in a sense, but what we also did was encourage our professionals to make sure that they were very much involved with our students and that they created a low pressure environment for them. So we gave them the heads up that everything was, this was a training ground for them. So it was wonderful.
So it's kind of like the elevator speeches. I remember I learned that
yes,
before. Like, you got to
like
talk to them really quick. What would you do if you have a business partner that's one? give a, you know. But we do have about 1 minute left in the show. Is there anything else you could say to the audience? Maybe about how to contact you?
Sure. So our foundation's website is commongroundfoundation.org. I'd like to say thank you for your time and for having us on your show. And if any of our students are watching, I love you. We all love you. And if people are curious as to how they get involved, commongroundfoundation.org is the best way to go.
All right, you guys heard that, folks. Once again, this is the Focus on Tomorrow show. Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization which is located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us at the web at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. I'm your host, Rita Caballero, and see you guys next week.